So where better to start than Paolo Di Canio? One of our Twitter followers described him nuttier than a squirrel's lunchbox. Bill, is that a fair assessment of the Italian?
Oh, that's just them putting it kindly, I have to say. He's madder than a box of frogs on acid. He's absolutely mental. Which is one of the reasons why his reign at Sunderland didn't work.
So Simon, was it a fair appointment by Sunderland? Was he appointed because of his reputation as a player and not a manager?
Well, I thought he did well at Swindon. Obviously, they got promoted, but I don't think his time there was good enough for him to get a Premier League job. And that's kind of proven by what's happened. He tried to change too much too soon for me, bringing in 10 players in the close season. And I think for a team to gel that quickly, you're going to need a lot of luck because it's just too much change. And he's a bit of a hothead, and we know that as him as a player, and now we know it as a manager from the things that have happened to him. So for me, it was doomed from the start. But it's part of me can understand why they took a chance on him.
Well, as you said there, he brought a lot of players in, but he also did that at Swindon in his first few months. I think it was 25 players came in, and a lot of them subsequently left before the end of the season. So he obviously didn't learn from those lessons. So Tommy, what do you think about Di Canio?
For me, Sunderland made the wrong appointment because I don't think Sunderland was the right project for Di Canio at his stage in his managerial career. From going from League One straight to the Premier League, it's too much of a jump. There were still certain skills, certain qualities which he needed to learn, which he would have done if he would have stayed in League One or gone to a Championship club. It was just too much of a big of a jump too early on in his career. You know, he's very new, he's very young in terms of being a manager. He hasn't had too much experience, so I think he needed to learn a lot more before making that big move. I just think it came too early for him, and I think by looking at their performances and looking at the results and the league table, it was clear to see that it had come too early for him.
He lasted only 13 games in his Sunderland career. So, Bill, was that a sacking too soon?
I think for any other manager it'd be too soon, but these are different circumstances when we talk about Di Canio. I mean, he brought in 14 new players, so they obviously had some faith in him. But then again, you know, people.
Why is it different circumstances with Di Canio? Because when he was at Swindon, there was a lot of media focus on him. When he was sacked, I believe he had a Football Focus interview the next weekend. For a League One manager being sacked, that's unprecedented. Why is there such a focus on Di Canio? What is it about him?
Well, I mean, he's a very confrontational, controversial figure. He always has been from his playing days at Sheffield Wednesday, West Ham, and even at Swindon. You know, I mentioned in my column about Di Canio, he fell out with Leon Clark, had pretty much a tussle with him, and took off a goalkeeper in West Bodgin after 20 minutes. I mean, that's not normal.
I don't think it's because of him as a player, because there are a lot of a lot of top players who are now starting their managerial career in the lower leagues. It's more him, his managerial style. It's so no one does it like him. Some of the things he does, it's just you kind of almost have to think, wow, really, as a manager, actually just gone and done that, because he is very.
It's very aggressive and very raw, very passionate.
Bizarre.
That's why people like him and people don't like him at the same time.
You say he had a bit of a success at Swindon. He wasn't really that successful, just over 50% win rate. The club, obviously, he left the club in circumstances beyond his control with the finances. But we posed this question earlier, how did he get a job in the Premier League with such a limited resume? Simon, how did that happen?
Well, what you said before was it's the reason he got the job because of his name, and you've got to say part of it is down to that because he's a well-known figure in football. If Swindon had a manager who did exactly the same as Di Canio, same successes, but didn't have the name Paolo Di Canio, he probably wouldn't have got the Sunderland job. It's just how it works for him. It is down to his profile in football, and there's not much more you can say about it.
So what do we think the future holds for Di Canio? Do you think he'll manage again at the top flight, or do you think he'll fade into the abyss?
Well, I'd be amazed if he gets a top flight job in the next 2 years or so. I think. I mean, he did pretty well at Swindon, so I would have thought someone in League Two or League One will give him the job. Although at League Two he had it pretty easy because Swindon had a big budget for that league. You know, the amount of loan players they had, like John Bostock they had in from Tottenham. If he didn't win, they won the league quite easily. But if he didn't, he probably would have got sacked. So he was one of those. So I'm sure an ambitious, possibly foreign chairman or whatever will give him a job. We haven't seen the last of him yet, but if he don't change his management style for the 21st century, I don't think he'll manage in the Premier League anytime soon.
And what do you guys think?
I think it's going to be tough for him to get another job in the near future, even in the lower leagues, because it's his management style with the players. It didn't work. It didn't work at all with him at Sunderland. It totally failed, and I think it, in a certain extent, it wasn't so successful at Swindon. There were a lot of unhappy players, and it's the biggest thing, being a manager, being able to motivate your players and get them to, play for you, fight for you, and do everything for you on the field. And if he can't get that, whatever level he's going to be coaching at, it's not going to work out.
No, I agree. I've just got to echo what you and Bill said, because given his style, there's a BBC article today about how the players went to the CEO of Sunderland to express their disappointment and uncertainty with their manager, because he's just a bit crazy, to put it simply, and it's come back to bite him. I can't see him getting a job in the Premier League for a long time. Maybe abroad, maybe the lower leagues, but his reputation is definitely down the pan.